Napoleon's first victory. The Siege of Toulon, 1793. The Siege of Toulon in 1793 marked the beginning of one of history's most remarkable military careers, that of Napoleon Bonaparte. This early engagement, often overlooked amidst the grand campaigns of the Napoleonic Wars, was the young Corsican's first significant chance to showcase his military brilliance. While it may have been relatively small compared to his later conquests, Toulon was a crucial moment not only in the French Revolutionary Wars, but also in shaping the future Emperor of the French. This siege, set against the backdrop of the French Revolution, was a complex event involving foreign powers, internal rebellion, and political intrigue. It was in this chaotic environment that Napoleon began to make a name for himself. In the summer of 1793, France was caught up in revolutionary fervor and civil war. The execution of King Louis XVI in January had sent shockwaves across Europe, and the revolutionary government, known as the National Convention, faced fierce opposition from royalists and counter-revolutionaries. In southern France, the port city of Toulon became a key focal point. Disillusioned with the Jacobin-led convention, the royalist residents of Toulon rose up and allied with a coalition of foreign powers, including Great Britain, Spain, Naples, and Sardinia. Toulon was strategically important due to its large naval base and the presence of the majority of the French Mediterranean fleet. If the Allies could hold it, it would serve as a crucial base of operations against revolutionary France. Conversely, if the French could reclaim it, they would deny the British and their allies a foothold and regain an important port. The French response was quick. Republican forces, under General Jean-François Cartouche, moved to besiege Toulon and take back the city. However, the initial efforts were poorly coordinated and hindered by weak leadership. The Republican army lacked a cohesive strategy, and its artillery was scattered and ineffective. It was during this period of military stagnation that a relatively unknown young artillery officer named Napoleon Bonaparte stepped in. At just 24 years old, Napoleon had risen swiftly through the ranks due to the ongoing revolution, which created a power vacuum and allowed for rapid advancement based on merit rather than noble birth. Born in Corsica and educated in mainland France, Napoleon had already shown promise in previous minor engagements, but Toulon would be his first real challenge. Napoleon was appointed chief of artillery for the siege in September 1793. Recognizing the flaws in the French deployment, he began reorganizing the artillery with remarkable energy and insight. His understanding of artillery science, influenced by his rigorous training at the École Militaire and his analytical mind, allowed him to identify what others had overlooked. The key to Toulon lay in controlling the heights around the city, particularly the forts Ligoulet and Balaguer, which overlooked the harbor. Securing these positions would enable the French to command the port with artillery fire, forcing the Allies to evacuate or face destruction. Convinced that focusing on these strategic points was essential, Napoleon devised a plan to capture them. It was a bold and calculated move. Despite his junior rank, his confidence and clarity of vision began to attract attention. Under his guidance, French artillery operations improved significantly. He established new batteries, organized a more efficient supply of ammunition, and trained the troops to operate the guns with greater precision. His charisma and authority also inspired those under his command, many of whom started referring to him simply as the artillery officer, a title that reflected his growing influence. The pivotal moment arrived in December. After weeks of preparation, Napoleon coordinated an assault on the key fortifications surrounding Toulon. On the night of December 16-17, the French launched a daring attack on Fort Ligoulet, supported by concentrated artillery fire. The operation was successful, and by securing the high ground, the Republicans posed a serious threat to the harbor. Within days, the Allied commanders recognized their position was no longer tenable. They ordered an evacuation, setting fire to much of the French fleet to prevent it from falling into Republican hands. By December 19, the victory was complete, and the French flag once again flew over Toulon. Napoleon's role in this victory did not go unnoticed. Prominent revolutionaries, including Augustin Robespierre, the brother of Maximilien Robespierre, one of the most powerful figures in revolutionary France, praised his performance. Napoleon was promoted to brigadier general at just 24 years old, a meteoric rise even during revolutionary times. His reputation as a brilliant and ambitious commander was now firmly established. The siege of Toulon transformed him from an obscure artillery officer into a rising star of the French military, setting the stage for his future campaigns in Italy, Egypt, and beyond. Beyond Napoleon's personal advancement, the Siege of Toulon had broader implications for the Revolutionary Wars. The expulsion of the British and their allies from Toulon restored French control over a critical naval base and dealt a blow to royalist morale. It also showcased the broad incompetence of the Republican military, which had struggled with disorganization and purges in the wake of the revolution. Toulon served as a morale booster and a symbol of revolutionary resolve. Furthermore, it highlighted the importance of artillery in modern warfare, a lesson Napoleon would carry with him throughout his career. The political context of Toulon is also noteworthy. The siege took place during the Reign of Terror, a time when political loyalty was as crucial as military skill. Napoleon's success earned him favor with the Jacobins, particularly the Robespierre brothers. This alliance proved both beneficial and precarious. While it facilitated his rapid rise, it also placed him at risk when the Robespierres lost power in 1794. Napoleon was briefly arrested following the Thermidorian reaction, but managed to avoid execution. His well-known abilities helped secure his release and continued advancement. Looking back, the Siege of Toulon was more than just a military engagement. It was a turning point in history. Had the Allies held the city, they might have prolonged the internal divisions of France and changed the course of the revolution. Had Napoleon failed, his name might never have been remembered. But he did not fail. Through a combination of tactical brilliance, personal determination, and the opportunities presented by revolutionary upheaval, he emerged victorious. Toulon was the crucible in which the legend of Napoleon was forged. In the years that followed, Napoleon would go on to command the army of Italy, cross the Alps, conquer Egypt, crown himself emperor, and reshape the map of Europe. But the seeds of that imperial ambition were planted at Toulon. It was there that he first experienced true command, where his ideas about warfare began to crystallize, and where he learned the value of decisive action, calculated risk, and the power of artillery. Toulon was, in every sense, Napoleon's first victory, not just in battle, but in the journey to shape his destiny. Thus, the Siege of Toulon stands as a testament to the emergence of a new kind of warfare and a new kind of leader. It was the stage on which a young man from Corsica began to carve his path to greatness. Although the cannons have long since fallen silent and the walls of Toulon bear only faint scars of the siege, the echoes of 1793 still resonate. For in that Mediterranean harbor, the world witnessed the rise of a genius whose ambition would change empires and whose name would echo through the ages. Thank you for joining us Napoleon's first victory video, the Siege of Toulon, 1793. Thank you joining for us Napoleon's first victory, the Siege of Toulon, 1793.